Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cinema Scrutiny Show. Today, I am John, joined as always by my co-host Billy. Billy, how you doing?
Doing great. It's been a pretty good week. Uh, I think we have a really fun topic today.
Yeah,
So,
of course, we are talking about the entire Falcon Winter Soldier, the entire series. So, if you haven't seen it yet, it's going to be pretty much all spoilers. I think that if you haven't seen it, just go see it. It was good. It's really good.
yeah,
So hopefully you can then come back here and discuss or listen to our discussion on what we thought of the show. So I guess to start off, we talked about the pilot. We did like a quick pilot review, but let's just jump all the way to the end. They changed the name of the show. It is now Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
yes.
What do you think of the new? I mean, the new name doesn't really matter to me that much. But like, what do you think of the suit and Sam Wilson's first outing as Captain America?
I think the suit is sick. I think the headpiece is a little bulky. On the
Yeah,
sides, it looks a little bit big, I guess. But the suit as a whole, I think, looks sick. Like, I love when he's like landing with the wings, and like my immediate thought was like it's like an eagle. It's like the bald
yeah,
eagle
he
with
is like the
Captain
bald eagle
America.
of justice.
It's like it's pretty sick,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
like he's got like a little bit of a Red Wing upgrade to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the I feel like the Falcon suit was kind of like mesh like padding type of,
Mm-hmm.
and this one looks a little bit more like official and like I guess the other one's militaristic too, but this one's like it's a real deal, you know?
Yeah, this one definitely feels more like they spent more budget putting it together.
Yeah,
I agree. I think that the heads, like the way that the helmet comes up, like it's like a full piece. It
yeah,
like feels weird sometimes when I'm looking at them, but I understand why. Like I think that the goggles are a cool touch when like especially when they go into them and you can see that he has like a HUD overlay that was
yeah,
kind of explaining what's going on. I think they're probably like as the suit evolves, every appearance we get with it. I think they'll probably try to move away from the connection between like the goggles and the suit.
yeah.
But it's very comic book accurate, which is insane.
It's like crazy accurate to the books, which is really
Yeah.
cool.
And I think that's part of Marvel's new Phase 4 initiative. Like between this and the Scarlet Witch's outfit and like White Vision, like I feel like we're going for a lot more comic accurate looks when we do attempt like new characters.
Yeah, I think it's been a slow dive for them. Um, you can look back at like Guardians of the Galaxy. That was like a really deep comic dive, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it was like their first big like dip in the water of like, all right, how deep can we go with this? And of course, it proved like they can go as deep as they want, really.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're really just getting comfortable with that now, and you know, this suit is like you said, straight out of the books. I mean, I found pictures of Sam and the U.S. agent in the books,
Mm-hmm.
as their respective roles at the end. We see the U.S. agent suit at the end too,
Yeah, he gets the black suit.
right? And they're both just ripped right off the page. It's like it's fantastic.
Yeah. I think Zack Snyder would be really proud of some of the shots in this too. Feel
Yeah,
like
probably.
talking more about like the Falcon's wings. When he like brings Carly down, it's like it feels a lot like Superman, like just kind of bringing Lois down.
Yeah,
Like
it was honestly a really like it was a great moment. I
yeah,
think I saw someone doing like an analysis of like the Sam suit, and like you'll see like the stars in the middle, and there's like two stripes that lead to the star.
mm-hmm.
But Steve's suit had like three stripes that lead to the star. And the person who was doing the breakdown was saying that like Sam's wings represent like the third stripe, and they represent like his honor to Steve or whatever like that
Yeah,
to like
yeah,
fly high and all that, which is like pretty cool way to
sure,
look at it.
yeah, no. So, what do you think about like the fight choreography for this series? Because I think when we're talking about WandaVision or like Marvel production TV recently, I think
Yeah,
the biggest complaint with WandaVision was that the fight choreography was kind of meh. And granted, it
hmm
only happens in like the one episode, right? But what do you think that Sam Wilson steps it up? Do you think the Winter
I
Soldier?
think I think the fight choreography it's definitely more prevalent here.
Hmm.
I think this show it definitely has more opportunities for hand to hand combat type of things. Where WandaVision's a little bit more mystical and like there's powers involved, magic and whatnot.
Hmm.
This they definitely stepped it up. I wouldn't say it's on the tier of like the Winter Soldier fight choreography or anything.
Sure.
Um, but they definitely like are in that vein, like seeing Sam train and like learn like the flips that Steve is doing and stuff, and all that's really cool. Bucky has his moments of like really epic stuff.
Hmm.
Even Zemo has really cool moments of action where he steps up.
Yeah.
And of course, U.S. Agent John Walker. He's also like kind of ruthless at like what he does and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I'd say it's definitely it's an improvement from WandaVision, but I'd say it's on par with like pretty much the normal like Marvel fight choreography. Um,
Yeah. I was gonna say it
I,
reminds me a lot of Civil War, like in
yeah,
terms of fighting style. But I also really appreciate for this one that everyone gets a lot more like technical fighting, I guess, with their like powers.
yeah,
Bucky, you don't see it as much because he just reverts to the Winter Soldier. But in general, the Winter Soldier was always a bit more like fleshed out, I guess, as a character with his fighting style. It's like ruthless, cold
yeah.
faced Russian. But Falcon got a lot of great choreography. I think him using the boost, like the boosted shield move, or sweeping the
Oh yeah,
legs with his Falcon wings. Particularly for me, I really loved when he won when he used the shield and the wings to save that one guy. Like he like put it up as like a full shield to
right.
like protect both of them. I thought was really cool. And I also love when Carly goes to hit him and he like digs the wings into the ground to like brace
Yeah,
himself. Like that was
it's epic.
sick.
It was
Whoever
super
thought of
epic.
that definitely was like, as soon as he thought of it, he was like, bro, I got an idea. Like
We
it's
got
gonna be
this.
so sick.
I think that's all part of like these Marvel shows that they're doing. I think it's like they want to highlight these characters more and give them their shine because
Hmm.
we see moments in like the movies where like Cap and Thor have like their little Thor will hit the shield and it makes like a shockwave type of
Oh, that
thing,
was so cool.
or like same with like Steve and Tony do similar things.
Hmm.
But those are like iconic moments of like showcasing their powers and working together with them. But Sam never really got stuff like that too
Yeah.
much, and we got to see a lot of that here. The wings thing taken into the ground was so cool. Like
Hmm.
I'm almost positive. I mean, it's not confirmed, I guess, but the wings are probably vibranium at this point.
Yeah, I would think the
Uh,
whole suit is like a vibranium mesh or something like that.
right, which is pretty sick. I think the Wakandans making this suit is really cool. Like someone made the connection of like a black man's wearing the Captain America suit with the suit made from Africa and stuff like that. Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Uh,
I never put that together. Like Wakanda's backing them up.
yeah, it's like a fully like African suit, but it's like built for America. It's like wow, it's dope. Like,
Yeah,
um,
I'm sure we'll get
what
some
did
play to
you?
that later.
Oh yeah,
For like
probably.
Shuri will be like, I built that shit.
Right, or like some Wakandans will like come and like shut down the suit somehow or something.
Oh
Like
yeah,
turn the wings off. So
yeah. That was actually a really great scene. That was like episode 3 or 4 where they just like rip Bucky's arm off.
yeah, that the whole Dora Milaje involvement in the show, even though it was pretty short, was also really great.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree. I think it was a
it's
really
good. To,
good callback because honestly, I would have totally forgotten that they were like hunting Zemo because Zemo killed T'Chaka.
yeah, I think it's really good that they showcased the Dora Milaje as like the Wakandan guard because they're supposed to be like the Amazons of Marvel in a
Hmm.
way. Just badass women soldiers who come in and like they really gave everyone a run for their money in this show.
Yeah,
It's like no one was going to stop them like single handedly or together. So it's like, yeah, flex, big flex.
yeah. That was a great scene with what's his name, the U.S. agent. I forget his actual like, character name, John Walker. Yeah, John Walker.
Yeah, John Walker.
Like that was like the tipping point for him. I thought that was really like heartbreaking when he just gets beat up completely. And he's like,
Yeah,
they weren't even like they're not even super powered. Like they're just regular people like I am, and I got my ass kicked.
yeah. I think it's interesting the John Walker character. Like, I feel like the way that I felt about him throughout the show
Hmm.
or the series was just like it was like a roller coaster of like, all right, I like this guy and I don't like this guy. You know,
Yeah, I agree.
uh, the first moment we see him in the first episode when he comes down the steps and he comes out, it's like, ugh, you know, like
Hmm.
I hate this. Like that's not Steve. You know, like this is not Cap.
Yeah, it's like
Like
a violent reaction.
right, but like of course, like they give us so many moments of like understanding him and like he has his own personal struggles and whatnot. Um, and I think that like back and forth that the audience feels, or at least I felt like
Hmm.
you go back and forth on your feelings towards him, but I think that kind of also reflects the character itself. Like he's unstable in a lot of ways. Like he suffers from PTSD. He's manic in
Yeah.
his actions, especially like in pressure, and it's like you kind of you swing in a certain way how you feel about him, but he's constantly swinging in like his decision making.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's always trying to do the right thing.
Yeah,
Which I agree. It's like a very much roller coaster of he's evil. Oh, maybe he's a nice guy. Oh no, he's totally evil. But then at the end, he kind of flips back, and I think it makes for a much more interesting character. During his court martial or like his dismissal, uh, he really kind of turns it around and he gives them he's like, this is your fault. Like you guys gave this to me and you told me what to do and I did it, and like
right.
you don't like what I did. And granted, that's kind of the soldier thing. Like he was still treating it like when he's in the field, he's a soldier. And there's certain, ethical compromises that you make in war that you can't really
Mhm.
make as Captain America.
Yeah,
And I think that John Walker wants to do the right thing all the time, but doing the right thing is very hard, which is something that Steve knew and something that, Sam knows. And
right.
so he like struggles with it. But at the end, he comes back around. And I think I really enjoy that he does come back around at the end because it not only makes his character, which is he's definitely returning at some point somewhere, more compelling, but
Yeah,
it also makes the Countess, Julia Louis Dreyfus's character, like much more compelling because, when she gives John Walker the blank business card,
hmm
uh, it's like very ominous. And they also never follow up on that, which is kind of weird.
yeah,
But like, you feel like she's a bad guy in that moment because John Walker is a bad guy in that moment. But then by the end, I'm not even sure. Like, I'm not sure if she's the Hydra side of the character that we know, or if maybe she is genuinely like rebuilding Shield, but with like a more aggressive nature. Like, it just puts into question both of those characters. It makes them much more interesting because nobody actually knows where they stand going forward.
right. I think
So
uh, I think she's supposed to be Madam Hydra.
yeah, that was what I was
Uh,
looking for. She is Madam Hydra, but like Madam Hydra isn't a bad guy all the time. She's not even a bad guy.
right. But I think that plays into just their characters as a whole. Like we're seeing more anti-heroes.
Yeah.
Maybe potentially she's involved with building either the Dark Avengers or the Thunderbolts or
Hmm.
something like that. Which is like a similar team to like the Suicide Squad type of situation.
Yeah.
Um, and I'd love to see John Walker in a team like that because he's definitely like, he's trying to do the right thing. And but as a leader, I'd be interested to see him on a team because we kind of saw him really just like in a duo or like
Yeah.
by himself. And I'd be interested to see how other characters who don't really know him have to like maneuver this guy and like work with this unstable dude
Yeah, I was about to say,
to
I think if they did do the Thunderbolts, traditionally Zemo is the leader of the Thunderbolts, and I don't know how he would react to having a super soldier on his team because he hates
well
them.
Zemo's always plotting. I guess it's a good just transition to talk about him.
Yeah.
Um, but Zemo got a great look in this show.
Oh, Zemo did
Um,
fantastic. Yeah.
I think there are a few issues with the show as a whole. Like you said, there's some things that get left behind or lost in translation, just because I think the show didn't have as much time as it really needed in certain spots.
Hmm.
Like Zemo, we find out he's like a philanthropist in this. Like he's super rich. Like that was something never touched on in like Civil War or anything.
Yeah.
Like, and then, like if you know the character, then you know that he is like a baron and he's like royalty and stuff like that. But um, in this scenario, he really just kind of got thrown into it on us. Um, and like his whole thing with the mask, like the Baron Zemo mask, like
Yeah.
he didn't really have a point to put it on. He just kind of put it on.
Yeah, he found it in his car.
Maybe he was trying to hide his identity in the act of killing those people,
Hmm.
but never really touched on it. But I at the end of the day, I was really happy with Zemo. He was so fun to see interact with them. It made me read more into the show because I'm like, how is he like trying to weasel his way out of this one?
Hmm.
He's like a really fun character, and I definitely want to see him come back.
Yeah, I agree. I think is it Daniel Bruhl is his name who plays Zemo?
Yes,
He is
yep,
so good. Like what a good actor.
he is really good. I'm
Uh
trying to think. I saw him in something else recently.
yeah, Zemo is
Uh,
just really compelling as a character. And I feel
yeah,
like it's so great to see him keep getting more uh, sorry, I'm looking at his I got distracted. I'm looking at his filmography right now. He is Lightning McQueen in the German version of Cars.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But that's a testament to his killer acting skills. But like for real, he gives such like a menacing vibe to the character, yet he's also extremely likable. And
Yeah,
especially it doesn't help that the meme format of like he's out of line, but he's right.
yeah,
Like that really
definitely.
kind of kicks him up. And this Age of Ultron or Civil War, sorry, Civil War was a very good film that I think puts him in the spotlight. But this one, like this TV show, is the thing to me where I'm like, yes, this man needs to be a recurring villain. Like
Yeah,
genuinely, if they were to introduce like a Doctor Doom style thing,
it should be him.
like I wouldn't even be surprised if they were like, he tries to rebuild Sokovia, and that's where we're gonna put the Doctor Doom vibe in, and like
Yeah,
he will just become Doctor Doom, and like I would love that because like he's too good. He's so good.
he's fantastic.
Yeah, he
I
was
think
also in Inglorious Bastards. You might have seen him in.
yeah, he's an officer in Inglourious Bastards. I think he's a
Yeah,
German officer.
he's also going to be in The King's Man, which is coming out this year,
Yes,
which is going to be awesome.
he's great. He's just great as a whole. I
Yeah.
think you know the layers that they gave him in this, just so fun to not like continue with.
Hmm.
And I'm sure they will. I'll be waiting for the scene where Thunderbolt Ross runs into him at the raft and says, "I need you for something,"
Yeah.
because Zemo may be locked up in the raft, but he's not really locked up.
No.
He's living there, you know, rent free, if
Yeah,
you
he's
will.
enjoying his time, and he's still clearly getting outside communication. Because
Yeah,
obviously, in the last, one of the last scenes of the episode, the season finale, he sends his like 100-year-old butler to blow up the rest of the super soldiers.
that's sick.
Which, like, honestly, it gets getting to the end of the episode, right? And like, I think we're all looking for like that one crazy cameo, like just something crazy to happen. And
Yeah,
I genuinely like when it like pans up to like the rear view mirror of the car. I'm like, is that old man Steve? Did he just blow up that fucking conv? I was like, holy shit!
I remember who the guy was too. I did. I was like, "Who's this guy?" Oh, wait, it's the butler. Yeah,
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 yeah. It actually, I agree. It took me like even staring at him full on once they pan back to him. I was like, who the fuck is that? But then they cut to
yeah.
Zemo, and I'm like, aha! Like then my fucking monkey brain starts working. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
So.
there's just so many good little moments sprinkled throughout here.
Mhm.
Um, one character that I guess that got a big pickup towards the back end, I think, was Isaiah Bradley and
Yeah.
his whole situation. I think when he first showed up in the show, I think it was episode 2.
Mhm.
Um, it was like pretty. I want to say it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
There's only like one scene with him, and I was like, is this the only time we're gonna see this guy? Like, I don't see them having any reason to come back here.
Yeah, I agree.
And I was like, that's kind of a waste, right? It's cool, but I'd like to see some more of him. And then luckily, at the back end of the show, Sam comes and visits him, and he kind of becomes like a little bit of like a mentor for Sam in a
Yeah,
way, to kind of navigate his position, uh, to becoming Captain America. And I think it worked out really well.
I agree. Yeah.
I really liked their like different ideologies on it, and like it feels like Sam really takes it to heart, but
Hmm.
he also knows that like I'm he's accepting that like there's a different way to look at this and like go about it, which is really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really interesting. And granted, we can only comment so much on it as white men, but
Yeah,
like
true.
the show takes a really like deep dive, or at least a deeper dive than I would ever anticipate Marvel taking in a million years
Yeah,
into what it means to be like a black Captain America and how race factors into the whole equation. And it was seeing Isaiah Bradley's pessimistic side or realistic side, depending on how you want to look at it,
hmm,
of like how it was going to go down based on the way that he was treated, and also his general, the U.S. government doing experiments on black soldiers is very reminiscent of the Tuskegee stuff that did happen. I believe that was World War
yeah,
II.
right.
So like it was just super interesting to see how their separate worldviews had shaped, how they viewed the symbol. And I thought it was really cool that Sam decides to try to, he's going to try to do it anyway, even though he knows there's like a lot to overcome.
Yeah,
And a lot of people aren't going to respect it. And like, even in, he might as well be talking to the fucking camera. He's like, I
yeah,
know a lot of you out there are going to hate this shit, but fuck you because
yeah,
you're wrong. And they are, they are wrong, obviously. It
right.
was just like, it was a great moment. And I think that, it was really cool to see that even though they don't agree, Isaiah Bradley was very proud of Sam for kind of like making his own decision and like trying to turn it around, I guess, trying to make it better.
Definitely. I think he was also proud, just like the speech as a whole. I guess it was a great speech.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very Captain America esque. It was like
Yeah, I agree.
it felt like it really solidified him in the role, and the
Yeah.
position, the
I
job.
think the thing as like a whole could have used a little bit more because I feel like we didn't know anything really about the GRC and like the actual problem.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's fair. I
so
think
like,
the only problem I really saw with the speech was that he's saying like you guys are wrong, and we have to do this in a better way. But he didn't really offer an answer in
no.
that regard. It was really just him kind of telling them you guys are wrong, which is he's right. But it also like, would you like to offer a
Well,
solution?
that's kind of the politicians like, what do you want us to do, man? This is complicated. And he's like, it is complicated, so do better. I was like,
Yeah,
huh. Like, I
yeah,
granted it's whatever, but yeah, it wasn't super like he got it, like he got him, but it was definitely the most Captain America style speech ever. Yeah,
yeah. It was definitely a moment where it was like,
he's like,
Steve was
listen,
right.
I just punch people. Like that's my job. I punch Nazis. Your job is to fucking run democracy. So do it better.
Right,
Like you have a
definitely.
tougher job than I do, Congressman.
Yeah, the ending and whatnot.
Mm,
I saw some people say that the show like leaned a little too heavy on the race stuff
yeah,
and whatnot. I didn't think so at all. I thought it was. I didn't think it was too much. I didn't think it was too little. I thought it was just the right amount. Like they weren't really shoving it in anyone's face. It's just you know
yeah. No,
it
I
felt
think
like a
that
natural progression.
anybody that was like against it was like Doomcock or like some. It's like the
Yeah,
idiots
seriously.
on on
The quartering,
YouTube and yeah, ugh,
the quartering probably bugging out about
yeah,
it.
absolutely tweaking. But those they're idiots, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Lastly, did you want to talk a little bit about Sharon Carter before we jumped out of here?
Oh, I called the whole Sharon Carter situation weeks before the
Mm.
final episode. Uh, so it was cool that she showed up on. I want to say Morador. It's not Morador. It's
Marzipan or something.
something like that. Yeah, the you know the criminal island
Hmm.
uh, of criminal espionage and whatnot, run by the power broker. As soon as it came into place and she showed up out of nowhere, I was like, I think it wasn't just me saying it. There was a lot of people saying it online that she was going to end up being the power broker. But I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense that she would kind of step into that, I guess. And then we find out at the end, not only is she the power broker, but she's actively plotting against the United States government.
Yeah. The place is called Madripoor, by the way.
Madripoor, yes, it's
Yeah.
actually from the X-Men comics, which is pretty cool.
But yeah, she
They're
is
pretty
like, we're
cool.
gonna get so much government secrets and intelligence. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah, which is pretty nuts. But
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting twist for her too as a character. Um, I'm surprised that she didn't really ask too much more about Sam, or not Sam, Steve,
Mhm.
in his absence, and where he went, what happened to him. Uh, and granted, I'm sure she feels pretty betrayed by the whole situation, but um, I think it's interesting to see her kind of take on this very different role than she has before,
Yeah, I agree.
and especially like her family lineage and whatnot too, with that. So
I hadn't even considered that. Yeah, like
yeah,
what would Peggy think? She comes from a line of like incredibly dedicated civil servants,
yeah,
and now she's just going full savage. I think it's interesting, and I feel like we didn't get enough of like what makes the power broker actually dangerous. Because
yeah,
the whole episode, the whole series, they're kind of skirting around if she's the power broker or not. Um, and there's some like I feel like some gaps in there. Like she definitely got close enough to Sam that if she really wanted him dead, she didn't have to hire Balchok the Leaper to come fuck him up.
right,
Like she could have just literally stuck a bomb on his chest and like walked away. Like he wouldn't even notice. Like there's too much trust there.
right,
Um, but I'm interested to see where the character goes. Like I feel like Sharon's not important enough to put on the big screen. But like what I feel like? I feel like the power broker will never become like big screen threat.
sure,
But maybe she's gonna like make an appearance in a couple more TV shows. Like maybe she shows up in Armor Wars, and she's like one of the people trying to sell the dangerous weapons. Or maybe she shows up in like Secret Invasion. I Yeah, I don't know.
yeah. I think she definitely is going to be a background player in the shadows, pulling strings,
Mm.
until it comes to a head on something, uh, which may like overflow into the movies, where we find out that it's really Sharon in the background pulling all the strings.
Yeah.
But I think it's a while before we get any more development on it. Um, like I think Armor Wars is definitely a possibility for that.
Mhm.
Um, I'd be interested to see if who else is going to show up in Iron Wars actually, or Armor Wars.
Yeah, I heard
Um,
there's a recent rumor that White Vision was going to show up in Armor Wars. Like that was going to be his next place.
really?
Hmm.
Well, I think after watching this, I am more excited for shows like Armor Wars because I think that type of show is going to pull directly from this type of
Yeah, from the
uh,
Winter Soldier vibe from the.
yeah. I think it's going to mix the Iron Man and Winter Soldier type of vibes together
Mhm.
and bring it into something uh, like an espionage, secret agent type of roadie movie or show.
Mhm.
I assume it'll be Rhodey leading the show,
Yeah,
but
it's Rhodey, and then I think we're also going to get Ironheart is going to show up.
yeah, that'd be cool.
And again, I feel like you need at least one more like mainline hero. I feel like putting the Vision in there is probably actually like that makes sense.
Yeah, Vision will be cool. They'll probably try and bring him back into like who he is, or at least try to maneuver him
Yeah,
that way.
gotta start like reintegrating.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, overall, this is like I don't know if it's better than WandaVision. I don't know if I like it more. I'd say it's definitely on par. Um,
Yeah, I would
but
say this definitely plays better. I feel like watching them over time, maybe WandaVision was a little bit more interesting because it was like there's much more of a mystery to WandaVision,
mhm,
but I think this is a much more solid show.
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Like I feel like the payoffs are better. There weren't any like disappointing turnarounds like Ralph Boner.
Right.
Uh, and I feel like the ending fights were just a bit better, but that's more so the fact that any, like hand to hand combat is going to be more interesting because I feel like, the Wanda's biggest problem right now is that her magic isn't controlled. So like, whereas Doctor Strange's magic is interesting because there's a lot of like complex spells, I guess. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like Wanda is literally her spells are just glowing red ball and bigger glowing red ball. You know what I mean? So like,
Definitely.
and hopefully Multiverse of Madness will fix that for Wanda. But I just feel like there's more like powerful options in the Winter Soldier, and you end up getting like a much tighter show.
It's much more relatable too. It's like
Yeah,
a much more grounded reality
it feels
or
more action
scenario.
packed as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I
I think for me it's probably a personal better one, but I do respect that WandaVision, and I do like WandaVision. I respect that
yeah.
they went in like a really experimental direction.
I feel like WandaVision is just so different.
Yeah.
I love WandaVision, but I think it's so it's like almost the opposite of this show.
Mhm.
As to where this show is just like humans on the ground type of thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Honestly, I think that Loki is probably going to be like a perfect bridge between the two. Like that's what it's looking like based on the trailers.
yeah, it's honestly it's gonna be. It may even be even more different. It may just be a full cosmic, just like send into the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I see from Loki, I'm like, I get more interested, but I'm like, oh my god, this looks ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, they're really
I,
throwing it out there.
I don't know how many episodes that show's gonna have, but I kind of hope it's like 8, like WandaVision, rather than 6.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the 6 was nice. This actually felt like, looking back on it, it feels like a long movie,
Mm-hmm.
even though each episode is like almost an hour. Well, WandaVision felt like 2 movies almost, or maybe just one. I don't
Yeah,
know,
I think
but
that it's probably going to be the six. I feel like they're going to do 45-minute episodes.
yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah,
think it'll be good either way. I'm sure. Their track record right now is, obviously it's only been 2 shows, but both
definitely 2-0.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't see them missing with Loki, so
yeah, I
very
agree.
excited. Very excited.
Well, that just about wraps up our thoughts on Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Great
If
way to end it, by the way.
Yeah, a little corny when they pull up the logo and then they change it. But it was like
Yeah, I guess.
okay,
I, I was happy to see it.
yeah, it was a cool change. You know, okay. Actually, before we wrap it up, I guarantee, like, if they do make a second season of the show, which I think is very likely, that is going to be so fucking annoying because I guarantee Disney Plus is going to have them as two separate shows because they have separate names. And fuck it, fuck it, fuck it.
I think. Well, I aren't they talking about doing a movie version of this?
There is a Captain America 4 in development right now, but I feel like they're really going to do all. I feel like they're going to do it all. Like this show did so well that I think we do the movie. I think we do another series of the TV show.
Yeah,
I think there's room for everything.
definitely.
Uh,
There is.
Anything that we can do to sell more Captain America toys, we're going for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that has been Cinema Scrutiny. Be sure to like, subscribe, share your thoughts down in the comments whether or not you like all the episodes. If there's something that stands out in particular as like a favorite moment, and share the review with your friends once they have watched the show. Just toss it over. Be like, here's some cohesive thoughts, and hopefully you guys can discuss, like Billy and I have had the pleasure of doing.
Yes.
All right, we will see you guys next week. There are no shows in the pipeline. I believe the Bad Batch is coming up May
It's true.
4th, I think. So maybe we'll do something about that if anybody's interested in some good Star Wars content.
Yes.
Uh,
Also, just to address it, I know the Oscars were this week, but
that is true.
we are not going to be having an Oscars episode. I don't think,
No,
because we did not watch the Oscars.
apparently nobody watched the Oscars.
Yeah, sad to hear, but it was a rough year for movies, as we all know. And I only saw one or two of the movies involved in the awards, so I feel like it wouldn't be right to speak on the majority of the things that got awarded and what didn't.
Mm.
So for this year, we will miss it, but other content to come.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. All right, we will see you guys next week. Have a good one.